In this class, let us learn about the circumference and the area of a circle. So, let its radius be r and let its diameter be d. Here, let us take r to be 5 centimeter. Then d will be double that, it will be 10 centimeter. So, this is the circle we have. This much is 10 centimeter. Now, circumference is defined as the length of the boundary. See this? This length is called the circumference. Now, I know it is difficult to imagine measuring something which is circular in shape, because usually we measure things which are linear, right? So, it's very easy. Just consider a wire or a string. So, if you take a string or a wire and bend it like this, and then you stretch it again and then measure it in a scale, you will find that the circumference is approximately 3 times more than the diameter. So, if the diameter is 10 centimeter, you will find that the circumference is approximately 3 times more, which means it will be approximately 30 centimeter. Why is that? That brings us to the formula of the circumference, which is equal to pi d. Now, what is pi? It is a mathematical constant. Its value is 3.14159. It goes on and on. So, we will just stop at 2 digits. So, pi is equal to 3.14, and as a fraction, it is written as 22 by 7. Or mathematically, pi is defined as a ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. Now, from this, if circumference you put it as c, then c is equal to pi d, or in other words, pi is equal to c by d. Now, what does that mean? However big or however small your circle is, suppose you consider an extremely small circle, just with a diameter 2 centimeter. However big it is or however small it is, the ratio of the circumference to the diameter will always be approximately 3. Why approximately 3? The real value is 3.14. So, if the diameter here is 2, then circumference will be approximately 6. If the diameter here is 5, then the circumference will be approximately 15. And why do I keep on saying approximate every time? Because the correct answer is 3, not 2 into 3. It is this, which is actually 6.24. And here also same. .70. So mathematically, what is pi? Pi is a ratio of the circumference of any circle to its diameter. And what is its value? In decimals, you will write it as 3.14, and in fractions, it is 22 by 7. Next, area. Area is the amount of space, amount of surface which is covered by this circle. So, if you see circumference concerns only what is happening in the boundary. It is only the length of this boundary. So, it does not matter what is happening inside. Circumference is not bothered about that. But area is this space. And what is its formula? Its formula is pi r square, and we have mentioned this in our earlier perimeter classes also. Circumference is measured in units, meter, centimeter, kilometer, and area is measured in square units, centimeter square, meter square, kilometer square, etc. Now, before we start doing the practice questions, I just wanted to share something with you. In the questions, sometimes you will notice that in the brackets it will be written take pi is equal to 22 by 7. And in some cases they will write take pi is equal to 3.14. So now these are both are more or less same, approximately same. But then how do you know which of these values to take? You will take this value 22 by 7 in two cases. One, if the radius or the diameter is a multiple of 7, or the circumference or the area is a multiple of 11. Now what is a multiple of 7? All the numbers that come in the 7 table, like 7, 14, 35, 49 and so on. And the multiples of 11 similarly, 11, 22, 33. Now it is not just 22, 2.2, that is also a multiple of 11. For example, 14 divided by 7 will be 2, but 1.4 divided by 7 will be 0.2. So consider those also, any multiple of 7. So in these two cases, it will be easier for you to calculate. If you take 3.14, your answer is not going to go wrong, but it is more easy. It is easier to calculate. I will tell you why that is. Suppose consider a case when r is equal to say 7. Take 7 itself. Then what is the circumference? It is pi d. But here you are given r. So what is d? It is 14, right? So here it is a multiple of 7. So here you take 22 by 7 and d is 14. So see, it makes your calculation easy. But at the same time, if you had taken 3.14, you are doing a lengthy multiplication, right? And at the same time, consider this. What if the circumference or the area is a multiple of 11? To make it easy, let's just take 22 here. Let circumference be equal to 22. Then what will be the radius? Again, c is equal to pi d. Here you know what c is. You don't know what the diameter is. So the diameter is c by pi. But what is your circumference here? It is 22. And what value of pi will you take? You will take 22 by 7. So the answer is 7. So just choose the value of pi carefully. That will make the calculation easy. Except for these two cases, for all the other cases, just stick to 3.14. For example, the example that we first took, for d is equal to 10. For that, it is better to take 3.14 because if you want to calculate the circumference, that will be 31.4. It is just to make your calculation easy and to save you time. Now let's go on to the practice questions. Now this is our first question. We are given the circumference. We don't know the area. We have to find it. For area, what do you need? You need to know what r is. You don't know what the radius is. So that is what you have to find out. What is the equation for the circumference? Circumference is pi into d. But here circumference is given as 176. So now you remember what I first told you. If this circumference or the area is a multiple of 11, go for 22 by 7. For pi, use 22 by 7. So is this a multiple of 11? It is, right? You know the divisibility test for 11. So you have to take alternate digits. For example, like this, take alternate digits and you add them, then subtract this. So 2 minus 1 plus 1. It should be either 0 or a multiple of 11. So this is 0. Similarly, see here 176. So go for the alternate digits. 7 minus 1 plus 6, that is 7 minus 7 is 0. So that means it is divisible by 11. So which value of pi will you take? You should take 22 by 7. This 22 by 7 into d is equal to 176. That means d is equal to 176 into 7 by 22. Now both of these are divisible by 11. So this will be 2 and this will be, out of 17 you have 1 11. Carry over 6. So 16, 8. So this will be 56 and meters. The unit is meters. But this is just the diameter. We actually want the area. If the diameter is 56, then what is its radius? Its radius will be half of it, which is 28 meters. So now you have R. So now it is easy to find A, right? What will be A? Again, stick to pi is equal to 22 by 7. Why? Because R is a multiple of 7. This is 22 by 7 into 28 into 28. Cancel 4. That is equal to 88 into 28. And the answer is 2464. And what is the unit? It is area. So it is meter square. Now, what is the second question? You have a semicircle and the diameter of that circle is 20 centimeter. And we have to find the perimeter of this semicircle. Now, for that, perimeter is just a circumference, right? So, C. What is the C of the whole circle? The C of the whole circle will be pi into D. Or in other words, it is just 20 pi, right? So the semicircle is half of the circle. So will the perimeter of the semicircle be just half of this? 20 pi divided by 2 is just 10 pi. Is that all? But you see, you have this also. You have to consider this diameter also. I often see students making mistake in that part. They just measure this part. So this is not all you have. You have this and you have this. So what do? Half of the perimeter, because the full perimeter would look like this. Now half of the perimeter, which is 10 pi, plus this 20, because you have this also. So it is half of this perimeter plus diameter, which is 20. Here you can use pi to be 3.14, which is 31.4 plus 20, which is 51.4. And what is the unit? The unit is centimeter. Now remember, this difference, this adding of this diameter is only for the perimeter. The area has no such problem. For example, if you consider the area, the whole area to be 40, then half of that you can just take it as 20. No problem with that. But what will cause a difference in the area? If you cut something out like this, then there will be a difference in the area. For example, if suppose you have two concentric circles. What are concentric circles? These are circles with the same radius. So if there are two circles like this, one circle say with radius 7 centimeter and another one with radius 3 centimeter, then what will be this area? It will be area of the bigger circle, which will be pi r square, which is 49 pi, minus this pi r square, which is 9 pi. So the answer will be 40 pi. You just have to substitute pi is equal to 3.14. So the difference in the area comes only when you cut something out. So when the semicircle comes, you just have to divide it by 2 and you will get the answer. So here you have a wheel. You have the diameter of the wheel. Then the question is, how many times does this have to roll to cover the distance 110 meters? Now, when it rolls once, it covers its circumference once. Why? Because it is just like running across a rectangular field. If there is a person who runs across the rectangular field once, what does that mean? He has covered the perimeter once. So just like that, if it is a circle, if it turns completely one time, it means it has covered its circumference exactly one time. So what is its circumference? Its circumference is equal to pi d. Now what is d? It is a multiple of 7. So what value of pi you will take? You will take 22 by 7 into 70. And how much is that? That is 220. And what is the unit? Do not forget the unit. It is centimeter. Now look at this distance. Diameter is given in centimeters and this distance is given in meters. So make sure you make both of them into the same unit. So it is easier to change this, right? So distance 110 meters will be 11,000 centimeters. So how many 220s make 11,000? 11,000 divided by 220, correct? So how many, I'm just asking you how, it is just like asking how many 2's make 10. 10 divided by 2, right? So answer will be 5. So just like that, this will give the answer and the answer will be 50. So after 50 rotations, this wheel will cover 11,000 centimeter. Now we go to the next question. Now, the ratio of the radii of two wheels is 4:5. Then what is the ratio of their circumference? So, you have two wheels here. So, take their ratio, take their radius as R1 and R2. And take their circumference as C1 and C2. Now, when you say the ratio of the radii is 4:5, it means that R1 by R2 is equal to 4 by 5. Now, does this mean that R1 is 4 and R2 is 5? No. It means that whenever R1 is 4, then R2 is 5. So, what about when R1 is 8? Then R2 will be 4 into 2 gives 8. So, R2 will be 10. And what about when R1 is 12? Then R3 will be 15. This is what it means. Their ratio will be 4:5. So the question is, if their ratio is 4:5, then ratio of the radii is 4:5, then what is the ratio of their circumference? Now what is C1? It will be pi D1 and this will be pi D2, where D1 is the diameter of the first wheel and D2 is the diameter of the second wheel. Now, we do not know what D1 and D2 are, but we do know what R1 by R2 is. So, that will be 2 pi R1 by 2 pi R2 and cut. So, the ratio of their circumferences is same as the ratio of their radii, which will be 4 by 5. Now, what about the ratio of their area? We shall find out. Now, what is A1 by A2? A1 will be pi R1 square and A2 will be pi R2 square. Again, what is common? Pi is common. Cut that. So you get R1 square by R2 square. But we know that R1 by R2 is 4 by 5. So R1 square will be 4 square by 5 square. That will be 16 by 25. So if the radii, the ratio of the radii is 4:5, then the ratio of the circumference will be the same as the radius, 4:5. But its area will be 16:25. Now again a similar question. You have two circles, right? So let all the terms we will express in R1 and R2. Let the radius be R1, circumference be C1 and area be A1 for the first circle. For the second circle, let radius be R2, circumference C2, area A2. Now what is given? The ratio of the area. A1 by A2 is given as 36 by 49. So this is 36 by 49. So anything you can cancel here? Any common factors? No. What about here? You have pi common, right? So you can cancel that. So you have r1 square by r2 square. 36 is 6 square. 49 is 7 square. So r1 square by r2 square is 6 square by 7 square. That means r1 by r2 is actually 6 is to 7. But that is not the question, right? The question is, what is the ratio of their circumference? Now, what will be C1? Do not write 2 pi r. It is 2 pi r1 because this is the radius we are talking about. And C2 is 2 pi r2. So, do you have anything common here? 2 is common, pi is common. So, this is just like the previous sum we did. The ratio of the radii is always equal to the ratio of the circumference. But what is R1 is to R2? We found it to be 6 is to 7. We have to find the area of this circle. Now what is the equation for area? It is pi r square. So you need to know what the radius is. But what do you know? You know what the diameter is. From that you get the radius. What will be the radius? If diameter is 20, the radius will be 10. That's all, finished. So this is pi into 100. Now what value of pi will you use? Do not take 22 by 7. That's going to make it very difficult. Take this value. That's all. And do not forget the unit, centimeter square. That was an easy one, right? So here we have a flower bed which is circular and it is of diameter 40 and it is surrounded by a path. And what is the width of the path? The width of the path is 2.5 meters. That means here also 2.5, here also 2.5. It's 2.5 all over the place. And now we want to find the area of just this area, just the path. So there are two circles, right? So let this be the first circle and let this be the second circle. So the area of the second circle minus area of the first circle is what we want. This much and then remove this part from here. Now what is the area of the second circle? Only the first you know to be 40. What about the second one? So see, here a 2.5, here a 2.5, then totally it will be 40 plus 5. 40 plus 2.5 plus 2.5. So that will give you diameter 45. But then for area, what do you need? You don't need the diameter. You actually need the radius. And the radius will be 22.5. Do not forget this unit. It will be meter. So pi into r square, right? So it will be 22.5 square. And what about the area of the smaller circle? That you already know. Again, notice that this is the diameter. For area, you don't need the diameter. You need half of it. You need just the radius here. And what is the radius? Radius will be 20. So this into 20 square. Now, I will just tell you an easy method. Instead of finding each one, finding this square and then multiplying it with pi and then doing all of this, take pi out. It is common, right? So take pi out. And you remember the a square minus b square formula? What will be a square minus b square? It will be a minus b into a plus b. You learned that in algebra, right? So if a is 22.5 and this is b is 20, then this will be pi into 22.5 plus 20 into 22.5 minus 20. That will be pi into 42.5 into 2.5. That would be 3.4 into 42.5 into 2.5, and the answer is 333.92, and do not forget the units, it is meter square. With that, we come to the end of this lesson. Till we meet again, stay safe. Salam alaikum.